Friday Night Lights means it's time for the final score. Your home for hard hits, big plays, and the Basin's #1 football show. The Final Score, brought to you by these sponsors.
Well, hello and welcome into another edition of the Final Score, Week 9. Aaron, it never looks so fine. Aaron Reynolds, Ben Pack, happy to be inside for this one.
You know, I was just thinking, my face feels really warm and it's a little red. I think I'm windburnt from being outside.
You go. It was a little
windy
chilly.
And also a little chilly across the basin tonight. So what better way to enjoy all of that bundled up watching some high school football, though?
Inside, especially here on the Final Score. Well, we start with a big clash in 4A Division 2. You know, Fort Stockton, you saw it there a little bit ago last week, getting the big win against Monahans. This time hosting the Greenwood Rangers. Between the two teams, just one loss between them. Greenwood up to #4 in the statewide rankings. Fort Stockton, 6-1, 2-1 in district. Greenwood, they've already got a playoff spot. They were trying to get a district win right here. We'll start off Fort Stockton coming out, trying to defend the home turf. In fact, they were so excited to come out, Aaron, they took the opening kickoff back for the touchdown. A.J. Garcia up the left sideline. No Ranger in range, if you will. He scores to make it 7-0, just 15 seconds into the game. And then after a fumble from Trey Cross, don't see that too much. Fort Stockton, they went for the field goal, but barely cleared the bar there. Only one doink on that one. 10-0 Fort Stockton. Fans were pretty hyped, but here comes the Rangers. Trey Cross making up for that fumble, bounces it out to the right, puts on the afterburners. Greenwood getting a little bit of momentum. They are on the board. Brody Raytime, the senior, he's a stud, and look at what he does right here. Coming back for the ball, going all over the defender. Then Ryan Snodgrass would punch it in a couple plays later to give Greenwood the lead. Here's Ray again this time. Breaks a tackle, going down the left sideline and making some moves. You know, he just always, Aaron seems to find a way to get into that end zone, which I guess is the goal of the game. And then, once again, that made it 20-10 Greenwood. Later on, Brody Ray, getting up and get off. 27-10 at the half, 27 unanswered after that fantastic start from Fort Stockton. And you see the Rangers, they hold on for the win, 54-17 on the road, I should say. A little misleading here, but Greenwood winning the district title. They take it, and we send it to Jake Eichstead, who caught up with the Greenwood head coach after the game.
The Final Score Sports Desk, brought to you by Stanley Ford.
Ben, Aaron, welcome to Panther Stadium, you guys. It was a really great game for Greenwood tonight. 54-17 game. Coach Purser, it was a little bit of a slow start for you guys. I'm pretty convinced you told your team it was a 7:30 start, not a 7 p.m. kick. But you guys really turned it on right after that. Tell me about how you did that.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it was sloppy. He gave up the kickoff return where we had a chance to get him on the ground. Then he goes. I mean, he did a good job of making a play and went down and, you know, get behind 7-0 and then another turnover and they get the ball back and get in good field position. I'll be honest with you, it really was like a win for us when we held them to the field goal. You know, go down 10-0, but then after that, the guys went back to work, especially offensively. You know, they started clicking, and that was really what we needed. And so once they kind of got rolling, I think that gave the defense a lot of confidence and, you know, forcing several 3-and-outs in a row. And, you know, once that kind of got going, things just started going our way. throughout the rest of that first half.
Yeah, you talk about the defense. They really only gave up 3 points that game, outside of the fumble going back and the kick going back. But you just have so many stars on offense, Coach. How do you spread the ball out, keep guys like Brody Ray, Trey Cross, Snodgrass, all those guys happy?
Well, it's good that they're all unselfish kids. They want to win. That's the bottom line for each and every one of those guys is, when we come off the field, we want to have a victory. And so they know whenever they have their opportunities, they're going to make the most of them. And if it's not their night necessarily, then they're going to do everything they can for everybody else. And that unselfish play is really what's kind of gotten us to another level of the way we're playing. We've got receivers that are giving extra effort down the field to block, linemen that are certainly doing a tremendous job, to help spring some of those extra yardage runs. And that's just how it works. Once you can get that rolling and you get guys believing in, everybody else around them, the other 10 guys on the field and the 20 on the sidelines, then things really start going good for you.
Coach, you guys are 9-0. Season's far from over, though. I know that's the way you're thinking. And a big game next week to improve to a perfect regular season against Monahans. And you were talking a little bit in your huddle about the history of that game. Can you elaborate, please?
Well, I'll tell you, Monahans, when I was in school at Greenwood, Monahans was the big dog. We didn't play Monahans. They were a lot bigger school than us. But since I came back and coached back in the late 90s and then, through my dad's era and through Coach Taylor, certainly, there's a big rivalry between Greenwood and Monahans. And, it's gone back and forth. Greenwood's had their opportunities to win and the Monahans has certainly done the same thing. And, it's just going to be one of those that it's nice to be at home, number one. But Monahans had an open night tonight, so I'm sure they were all here watching us play. And they'll be ready. And so when they come on the road, for us, we don't want to let anybody be that spoiler for us. We want the 10-0. We want to finish perfect right now as we go into the playoffs and really be on a positive note. And certainly to get to do it against a team that's a rival is going to be a lot of fun.
Speaking of spoilers, this is the second time I've talked to you on an away field after a win. So congratulations to you, Coach. Great to see you again. Have a safe drive home. Again, Ben, Aaron, a 54-17 win for Greenwood here tonight in Panther Stadium. Seemed like a complete domination just after a little bit in that first quarter. Take it away.
All right, thank you, Jake. Taking a look at some more scores from around that district. Pecos got a big win over La Mesa at home, and so the Eagles are now 3-2.
Yes, 3-2 in
district play.
In district play. Good for the Eagles. They're looking like they're going to make the playoffs here. All right, district opener for Andrews and Big Spring up at the Mustang Bowl. We'll take a look. Head coach Ralph Nason for the Andrews Mustangs, trying to see his defense get dialed in here, but Jose Cantu providing some trouble. He's coming in to Mustang territory. And down the sideline he goes. Oh, my goodness, right into your kitchen. Fourth down, they went for it. C.J. Harris, he's going to take it here and plow his way into the end zone. Big conversion there. And, give him a little camera time. There we go. Nicely done, Mr. Harris. Marquise Lawrence, though, and Brett Leach, they have quite the connection. Leach to Lawrence for the touchdown here. By the way, Big Spring went for 2, so that made it 8-6. So Andrews going for 2. Leach coming up to the line. And I've seen this trick play before. I know it's going to be a direct snap, but another wrinkle. It's Marquise Lawrence this time to Brett Leach, and we're all tied up at 8 apiece. This game was back and forth. It was tied 14-14, I believe, at the half. And Andrews after that able to take control 48-14. But a fun game up there at the Mustang Bowl.
We're going to keep it rolling with some more scores for you here, folks. In that same district, the Seminole Indians got a nice win over San Angelo. Lakeview at home, 47-28.
All right, coming up, we move to 6A, and we start off, it's all Rebels. Midland lead Tascosa up in the Panhandle Dick Bivens Stadium. See which team would come out on top.
You're watching The Final Score, brought to you by these sponsors.
All right, now moving our attention, we did 4A, that crazy 4A Division II district. Now we go inside the Toasty Studios here at The Final Score. we go to 6A, but, you know, if you thought it was cold, speaking of the weather, could have been worse if you were up in the Panhandle.
Yeah, so as I'm sure some of you all saw, the Panhandle actually got some snow, but while the temperature was dropping, the action on the field was only heating up.
I would say so, especially, you know, Tascosa, Midland Lee. Last year, they split the title along with Permian, especially for Midland Lee in this game. They lost to Tascosa. Permian, though, they handed Tascosa a loss last week, so you might imagine those Rebels might be a little amped up for this, and head coach Clint Hartman for Midland Lee had that in mind.
Permian outplayed, played really, really hard and did a great job and beat them, and they're probably mad about it and trying to make adjustments, and can't wait to get that. When you lose, you want that taste out of your mouth, so I think probably Friday can't come close fast enough for them.
Well, here we are, Friday. It couldn't come fast enough for me, Aaron. I'm going to be honest. Midland Lee on the road against Amarillo Tascosa. By the way, if Lee won this game, it would have been a year since their last regular season loss. Lee already up 7-0 early on. Mikey Serrano, he keeps it himself for the touchdown, 14-0 early, but the teams, they're going back and forth with the QB keeper, Joseph Plunk, getting into the end zone. He's pretty pumped as his Rebels get on the board, 14-7. But, you know, I think, Aaron, our reporter Jake Eichsett's going to like this highlight. Carl Taylor, SMU commit, getting the reverse, and look at that. You know, it's been a while since I've ran, like really ever, but I don't know, seeing all that room, I'm thinking I could hit that hole. Takes it back for the touchdown, 27, Midland Lee. Tascosa answering with Joseph Plunk. He was down at the one there. Next play, he keeps it and punches it in right there. Midland Lee, though, they get a strike back, ensuing drive. Serrano out to McKylan Young. 28-13, Midland Lee back in front. You can see that snow, by the way, on the hill over there. Just before the half, Plunk to Major Everhart. Tascosa, they were state semifinalists a year ago. You know they got a little bit of that championship pedigree. 28-20 at the half. They weren't going to go down easy, and they didn't tonight. But in the end, Midland Lee does find a way to get the job done. 55-36. Rebels remain undefeated, by the way. Midland Lee clinches a playoff berth with that win.
I can't get over the snow. I love it. Okay, staying in that tough district, Mojo, who beat Tascosa already, playing on Lee's Tall City rival, Midland High, over at Grande this evening. Start off in the second quarter here. Permian with the ball. Easton Hernandez back and better than ever. Playing quarterback keeper, running it in. Permian up 35-0 after that. About 5 minutes left in the same quarter. Amari and Garrett going to take the handoff for Mojo this time. Runs it left for another Permian touchdown. So then they go up 42-0. And they tack on another one just a few minutes later. So they go in to the second half up 49-0.
Looked pretty pumped there.
Yep, and taking a look at this final score, those Panthers win 62-0, shutting out Midland High and improving their district record.
Hey, my goodness. All right. Friendship, they were at Ratliff Stadium. Odessa High, I should say, had the game at Ratliff with Permian on the road. Danny Servance looking for the first district win of the year. Midway through the second quarter, 21-0 Tigers. Donovan Smith, though, he's going to air it out. And, oh, no, Jordan Madden hits it in stride. A little camera time for Mr. Madden. 28-zip Friendship, but Odessa High trying to get something going, and they might have got something going here. Drake Cobb down the field to Giovanni Flote. Next play, Cobb keeps it in on the quarterback keeper. By the way, keep in mind, Cobb started the year as a wide receiver. 28-7. Friendship still in front, but here come the Tigers. William Bayouth weaves his way into the end zone for the score. That made it 35-7. And as we look at the final here, 65-21. Now, Friendship, they improved to 2-1 in district. Odessa High, they fall to 0-3. So as we take a look at the standings here, you see Midland Lee and Permian, they're both in the playoffs, having started 3-0. Friendship, the slight edge over Tascosa. They will play later in the year, but Odessa High and Midland High, both of them are going to need back-to-back wins to have a chance, and probably some help along the way as well.
Taking some looks at some scores here. Kermit on the road against Tornillo, and they get a 49-14 win. All right.
Yeah, Kermit 2-4 on the year now.
Reagan County still looking for that first win of the season. Tonight they were over in Crane, taking on those Golden Cranes. We're going to enter the action in the second quarter. Golden Cranes with a big lead. Jackson Willis, quick pass to Brandon Cerna here. He's going to weave around some traffic. Don't worry, Ben. The Owls do manage to take him down. He goes down about the 35-yard line. Later on in that same drive, Willis with a pass to Donnie Bishop this time. Runs down the right side, and it looks like he gets the touchdown and almost hits him. But not quite. They're going to call it back to about the 1-yard line where he ran out of bounds. So Willis is just going to muscle this one in for himself. Golden Cranes go up 46-6 with about 5 minutes left in the half. So taking a look at this game in the fourth quarter here, it was a little slow rolling here in the first half. Actually, we are told now that this is the final of that game. Cranes end up winning that one by just 10 points more than when I left, 56-6.
There you go, slowing it down a little bit as Miss Reynolds. They can say the best stuff for you, Erin.
Yes.
Alpine, as we move to 3A Division II, or we stay in 3A Division II, I should say, in that district, 65-0 win at home over the Wildcats from Anthony.
And then Stanton on the road playing a tough Tahoma team, and the Buffs lose to the Bulldogs, 61-8. Bulldogs get a nice win in that district.
And Stanton now 0-3 in district with that loss. The Blizzards from Winters coming into Forsan getting a 2013 win. Buffaloes could have clinched a playoff berth if they won this game, and you see coming up just close, or just that close away, but still very much in the discussion.
Moving on to another 2A district, the Ira Braves still looking for that first win of the season, Ben.
Yes, I know. Atina started off the year, I believe, 8-0 last year as well.
Braves taking on the Wink Wildcats for their district opener. Here we go, Wink with the ball. Zach Roses going to take this one in for a Wink Wildcat touchdown, making it 7-0.
Nicely done.
Later on, Ira Ann would turn this one over on downs, and the Wildcats would get a nice win at home, 47-6, the final.
Yeah, Wink, I will say, Wink, they've been picking it up lately. Okay, Van Horn at McCamey. Aaron, I know you were at this game, Badger Stadium. Pretty good atmosphere from what I understand.
Yeah, we're going to start this one off at the start of the game. It was homecoming for the Badgers, less than a minute in. Ivan Rubio going to lob this one up the middle to Caden Johnson. He's going to run it in for an early Badger touchdown, 7-0 with a lead just a minute into this game. After that extra point, Van Horn would be forced to punt on the following possession. And then McCamey's Nano Rodriguez is going to come up with it, gets away from a few guys, runs to the other side of the field, so he makes a nice little gain here for the Badgers to set them up nicely in this drive. Next play, Rubio to Rodriguez once again runs down the sideline for a Badger touchdown. Now, nothing would come of this, Ben. A little anticlimactic there, but they're still up 7-0 after this point. So taking a look at this final from this matchup, the Badgers go on to lose. So Van Horn makes a nice little comeback there in the second quarter, and in the second half, 44-32 your final in that matchup.
Van Horn seems to be much improved. They're now 4-4 on the year after that. And that is all the UIL 11-man action in the Basin tonight. But now we get a chance to talk some 6-man. And Aaron, you know, there's always a lot of fun stats that come out of those games.
I love it. Always seems to be a lot going on, especially when with those Mercy Rule wins as well. Certainly the case for Garden City and our athlete of the week last week. So Rildo Meyer led the Bearcats with 5 touchdowns. 5, Ben. 5.
On just 11 carries.
He also rushed 11 times for 195 yards last Friday. Meyer says he loves being able to be a senior and a leader for the team this season. And here's what the senior had to say about his performance in the game last week.
It was real fun. A lot of team effort, you know, and it was just really fun. Blocks were all there. A lot of, you know, it was just, the crowd was exciting.
So Bearcats with a nice win last week, and they improved to 2-0 in district play this week. Visiting the Westbrook Wildcats, the Bearcats get a 50-32 victory.
Nicely done. Balmorhea, the #1 ranked team in Division I for 6-man. Marfa, they were at Marfa, and my goodness, in just one half, Bears put up 84-6 over the Shorthorns.
Keeping it rolling with some six-man scores for you folks. Fort Davis on the road taking on that tough Rankin team, and the Indians fall to the Red Devils. 14-16.
Our mistake there, but that was the Thursday night game, by the way. Borden County, the Coyotes, they are the number 2 team rated in Division I for six-man, and they were at home taking on the Klondike Cougars. I believe Borden County is up to 11, 12 straight district titles. Looks like they could be in position for another after a big win over the Cougars.
And keeping it rolling with some scores, Sands on the road visiting Grady. And look at this high-scoring game. The Mustangs fall on the road, Wildcats with a 79-38 win.
Yeah, Mustangs still looking for their first win of the year. Now, Grand Falls Royalty, they were on the road taking on Sierra Blanca. They are rated as the number 2 team in Division II for six-man. Grand Falls, as you see there, they clinch a playoff spot with this win over the Vaqueros.
Sanderson on the road against Buena Vista, and the Eagles get a Mercy Rule shutout win over the Longhorns, 45-0 Sanderson.
All right, now Midland Christian, they were at home 2-0, taking on Fort Worth Nolan Catholic. Nolan Catholic, the Vikings, the number 2 team in taps. We'll take a look at how this game went down at Gordon Autry Field. Nolan up 7-0 in the first quarter. MCS, though, comes back. Rhett Clark bulldozing his way into the end zone to tie it up for the Stangs. And then looks the same here, just a little darker outside, I would say. You know, we're hitting that time of the year. Rhett Clark punching it in, 13-7. MCS, again, this is the number 2 rated TAPS team in the state, Fort Worth Nolan Catholic. Second quarter now, Rodney Talton, he goes in for the long touchdown pass. The Vikings take a 14-13 lead. I'm so anxious to see how this played out, Aaron. Oh, 28-13. The Vikings come out with the win over the Mustangs. Still, I would say a phenomenal showing for Midland Christian, given the amount of talent that's on that team and the disparity of this game last year.
For sure, and we are still rolling here on the final score. Coming up, the best highlight of the night, play of the week is next. I wonder what it is.
Well, I sure shall see, but we also, of course, we'd like to hear some jams from time to time, or as Aaron Reynolds would say, some bops. And we'll bring you that with our Band of the Week. Stay with us.
You're watching The Final Score, brought to you by these sponsors.
Well, another Friday night, and we have quite the treat for you as we bring the halftime entertainment. We're going to hear from a band that in the UIL, they've received a Division I rating. That's the best you can do since 1938.
That is 81 consecutive years for those of you guys who don't want to do the math.
Yeah, and if you're wondering who it was, of course, Odessa High, that Odessa High Bronco Band, our Band of the Week.
They sounded so good.
There we go. Well, brother, thanks again to the Odessa High Bronco Band. Fantastic job there. That was our Band of the Week, though, but we got more fun coming up.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like time for our play of the week?
I think so. Let's do it.
And if I can judge off of the tease earlier,
Yeah.
it's gonna be out in Andrews?
I think so. Now, did you watch the Super Bowl a few years back, Eagles, Patriots? I know our director loved it. Brett Leach and Marquise Lawrence, they had the Philly special in that Super Bowl. We're calling this the Andrews special. Brett Leach looks like he's just talking to the lineman, and then they're going to run left, but you kind of see here, there's the pitch back. Marquise Lawrence And by the way, the touchdown before was Leach to Lawrence, so just poetic.
Shout out to our photographer there for catching that.
Too kind. Yeah, our photographer for missing the reverse there. Shout out to Andrews, our play of the week. Well, our last commercial break, it's coming up, but of course, we're not quite done. We got some final thoughts for you. We'll bring you our final thoughts, including from our game of the week, Greenwood defeating Fort Stockton.
You're watching The Final Score, brought to you by these sponsors.
Well, Aaron, week 9, again, as we mentioned, we are just, well, now, at the end of tonight, 2 weeks away from the playoffs, from the start of the playoffs. A lot of crazy stuff going on out there, including, interesting game of the week.
Yeah, it's flown by. This season has.
I know.
We have Greenwood visiting Fort Stockton for our game of the week. Our game of the week reporter, Jake Eichstead, was down there.
Yep.
And I think he has some thoughts on this game.
I think so. Well, I think we got some thoughts as well. Well, let's take a look. All right, so Greenwood, they fall behind 10-0 to start this game with Fort Stockton, and all of a sudden, all those struggles that seemed to be apparent early on in the game when they were down 10-0, they go out the window. They score 27 unanswered, and they roar back to a big win over Fort Stockton here. I believe 55-14. We've had a lot of scores tonight, folks. I believe it was 55-14 the final here. And not 14, it was 17, I think. Anyway, Fort Stockton, you got to give them credit, obviously, for coming out, defending their home turf at the start of that game. But Greenwood, my oh my, they get that district title as well.
I think that's what they do to a lot of teams, though. They just have so many backup players that they just kind of burn teams out. They let them hang around for a little bit. And
yeah. Well, and another team another game where we saw that from when they played Seminole. Remember, they kind of got off to a little rusty start there, but they found a way to get that win. Also, a quick shout out, they didn't get the win, but for San, we can't emphasize how much they've improved. One win from last year, they are still on the cusp of making the playoffs. And Big Spring, I was at that game. The final score probably didn't reflect how well they played. Tight at the half. Shout out to the Steers. That's all the time we have for you on the final score. We'll see you again next Friday night. Playoffs coming up in 3 weeks.